60 Minutes has brought you some unforgettable characters. Camille Giraldi is one. I first met her in 1991, and I have to say that I have never met anyone quite like her.
Your mommy kiss. Okay. A lover's kiss. A lover's kiss. Oh.
She is Mrs. Camille Giraldi, a doctor's wife, a nurse, and a mother. When we met her in 1991, a mother of 17 children. Camille and her pediatrician husband, Dr. Michael Giraldi, have 2 biological children of their own, healthy teenage daughters. But they have adopted the other 15, and that's what this story is all about. Almost all of these children were gravely ill when the Giraldis brought them home. Most of them have Down syndrome and related medical problems that continue to this day.
Jolene has a severe lung disorder, and in order to keep her lungs clear, we have to do clapping on her every other hour on a normal day, and today, because she's sick, we're doing it every hour.
Camille and Mike Giraldi live in these 2 houses in a very good neighborhood in South Miami. They used to live in just the one on the left, but a few years ago, they ran out of room and bought the house next door.
4 little, 5 little, 6 little.
When you step inside, you step into a world of childcare that would be pretty hard to duplicate anywhere else. Assisting this small army of children is almost as large an army of adults. Some of them are paid childcare workers. Some are volunteers from the local community, and 4 of the adults are disabled themselves and live here along with the children. The emphasis is on getting these children to do things for themselves so they'll be able to function as independently as possible.
Brush. Kyle is going to brush his teeth. What a big boy. Push your toes. Very good.
But the thing to remember is that most of the kids have severe medical problems, like Jolene.
When I had her, they told me she was deaf, blind, and would be absolutely nothing but a vegetative state. And this was our first really sick child.
She's clearly not blind.
No, she is.
Is she deaf?
Not at all. And her faces are what I make to her. And she gives them back. You know, I use a lot of expression, and she does the same thing. But this child, boy, I'll tell you what, every gray hair in my head is from this child.
They brought Mariah home from the hospital when she was 5.5 months old and was not responding to anything.
You brought a child in here who was in a total coma, who wasn't even responding to pain, and you brought her here?
Right.
Why?
Because she would have been a border baby at the hospital. You know, and they told me that she was deaf because she responded to nothing. And then suddenly, within a month, she was really moving around, and now we have Mariah.
And how much does all of this cost? Well, you get a sense of the cost if you follow Camille and her caravan of shopping carts through a typical day's journey through a supermarket. With 8 gallons of milk and 50 jars of baby food at a time, it's easy to come up with a bill like this.
$4.50.21.
I wonder how we did it under 500. I must have missed 2 aisles.
And that was 14 years ago. Imagine what it would cost today. Of course, none of this would work if this operation were not run like a Ford assembly line.
Everything works. Every child has a basket. In the basket, at night, we set out the clothes for the next day. During the day, we set up the pajamas for that night. Clothes are never laying around. Everything looks neat because we use the basket system.
When you have 15 children under 5 years old, you have a closet that runs for 15 feet. The dresses, the play clothes, the shoes, everything is in immaculate order, something that's an obsession with Camille. In '91, it was Mike Giraldi's successful medical practice that paid for most of the expenses. The Giraldis set up a foundation in order to accept charitable donations, but the bulk of the money still came from Mike. He claims he knew exactly what he was getting into when he married Camille. They met at a hospital where he was a resident and she was a nurse. Camille had already decided that the most important thing in her life was working with sick children.
Yeah, we used to meet at the hospital, and I'd meet her for lunch on the grass, and she'd have some of these babies that would never step foot out of the hospital unless she took them out there. And she said that she wanted them to feel the grass and touch the leaves and feel the wind. And it was beautiful. And then we started to date, and then we decided to get married.
But we sort of look like Mutt and Jeff.
Yeah, she always used to refer to us as a Mutt and Jeff couple.
Well, you know, Camille is very heavy. You don't see that.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Was she beautiful from the minute?
Beautiful from the minute.
It's fabulous.
She has a big heart behind that big body.
I know that.
Camille, what is motivating you? Nobody on this planet is doing what you're doing.
The children motivate me. These children weren't supposed to do so well. That motivates me. Or to see them reach out for me or smile or listen. They all listen to me. That motivates me every day.
In the 14 years since we first met Camille and her family, there have been many changes. Perhaps the most profound change is with Camille herself.
But get excited about it. Come on.
Today, she is less than half the woman she was back then.
It's a lot of weight. It's a whole different body, and it's all different for me, too.
Hi, Kyle.
It certainly is a lot of weight. She dropped more than 230 pounds,
Wow, that's amazing.
much of it after having gastric bypass surgery in 2003.
Wow, it looks gorgeous.
Of course, the children have grown up.
4 little, 5 little, 6.
This is Champ dancing as a 4-year-old. He's 18 now, a high school graduate who helps train dogs for rescue work.
No, I had known about.
And Mariah, who arrived at the Giraldis a lifeless infant,
And how old are you, Mariah?
she now goes to school and last year went to the 8th grade prom. And remember Jolene, who needed to have her lungs clapped to keep them clear? Today she's healthy, she's in school, and like a lot of 16-year-olds, she loves to wear makeup.
A fabulous little girl, and she will always be very special to me because she is the one I spent 2.5 years in the hospital with.
Many of the other changes in Camille's life began right after our story ran.
That's right.
And people wanted to write books about us, people wanted to do movies about us, people donated so many things, from money all the way through a van.
I like you.
Somebody called us in Montana and wanted to donate 600 acres, and boy, I wish I took it now.
Amen.
Okay.
That's because they have grown so dramatically, almost doubling the number of special needs children and adults they care for. They now have 40, and they range in age from 2 to 56.
In the name of the Father.
Mike still provides free medical services. The Giraldis are often the last hope for overwhelmed parents and agencies unable to deliver proper care.
Do I like you to lie? No. What do you say? That's right. You get in there and brush your teeth and don't.
In addition to their homes near Miami, the Giraldis now own and run a 30-acre farm in rural North Carolina.
The address here is Possibility Mountain Trail. To be on Possibility Mountain Trail, it means that everything is possible for these children. There is nothing that we can't reach or attain.
It's a real working farm with chickens, goats, cows, and dogs, some for breeding, and others they train for sophisticated service and rescue work.
Oh yes, you do have to spend the night tonight.
Camille still goes nonstop every day, mothering dozens of children
You look beautiful this morning, all right?
with her usual sunny optimism.
You're the only child I have.
In 10 years, I would like to see every single one of my children living up here in North Carolina. It is my dream that we're all together, that we can do this all together, and that we can all grow old together. I can tell you for sure I'll never have to go to a nursing home because my children will be taking care of me. Tomorrow, if we go do those dogs.